Shem Angel 65, DAMABIAH. Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today. This is Taliesin McKnight, and we've reached Shem Angel 65. I've made a full video on each of the 72 Shem Angels up to this one, and we're getting pretty close towards the end, so it's pretty cool. This Shem Angel is associated with water, with the ocean, with rivers, with water, and the divine attribute that is embodied in this angel is God, the fount of wisdom. So you think of a fountain of flowing water, the fountain of wisdom, font sapientiae. So Shem Angel 65 is associated with water. This is what the science of the Kabbalah says. This genius rules the seas, rivers, springs, maritime. Maritime means related to the sea. Expedition is a voyage or a journey. So journey by water. So seas, rivers, springs, maritime expeditions or journeys by water. Shipbuilding. It influences sailors, pilots, meaning pilots on a boat, fishermen, and all those who trade in them. The one born under this influence will be distinguished in the Navy through expeditions and discoveries and will amass a considerable fortune. And there it's talking about the birth angel. So this angel governs the element of water. It governs seas, rivers, probably creeks, springs, anything dealing with water, fish, boats, things like that, things associated with water. And the divine attribute, again, is God, the fount of wisdom, Deus font sapientiae. And again, the divine attribute is very important because it shows a little bit about the essence of the angel. Now, there is an additional passage here in the science of the Kabbalah. It talks about how the Shem angel is also associated. It looks like in the French that it's referring to possibly the psalm verse rather than the angel, because it says it gives the psalm verse, and then it says it serves against sorcery and to obtain wisdom and success in useful enterprises. Then it says this genius rules. So it's followed by this genius rules. If you look at the actual text, it looked like it's probably referring to the psalm verse. But many people combine these so people can experiment and talk to the angel. Could this angel help to work against black magic and also to obtain wisdom and success? Now, this idea of wisdom is found directly in the divine attribute, God, the fount of wisdom. So you have this idea of waters and seas and rivers, springs, anything dealing with the element of water, and also the divine attribute deals with wisdom. So how can we work with this? There are some people that might be interested in working with spirits of water, and you have to be very, very careful working with elemental beings. So some people may like to call upon a Shem angel to kind of help guide what is the proper way to do that type of thing. Also, if you want to know the secrets of the element of water, if people are doing dream work or astral projection with the Shem angels can be there to teach you about magic. So there's some people that may want to learn more about elemental magic. At this point, our teachers are no longer just of flesh and blood. We're being taught directly by the spirits or the gods. Being taught directly from the spirits. And that's probably what a lot of these grimoires and magician workbooks have been about, is interactions with spirits and learning from them. Many of the spirits, it says, you can learn about geometry or natural philosophy or whatever, so it's very common. So if you want to learn about the element of water in magic, then this could be your angel. And then also wisdom. So waters and wisdom. And you could try working with this angel. See what happens if you ask for help against sorcery, and for wisdom and success in any useful enterprise. So I haven't tried that, so I can't really speak on it. And even then, that would just be my own perspective. So this is Shem Angel 65, DAMABIAH. The attribute is Deus Fons Sapientiae, God, the fount of wisdom. It governs seas, rivers, springs, maritime expeditions, shipbuilding. It rules sailors, sea pilots, fishermen. And this is from the choir of angels. So there are many things that we can do with this, whether you're working with water, or whether you're going fishing, or whether you're taking a journey by the water, or you want to explore the element of water magically, then this can be your angel, and also for wisdom. The Psalm verse in the older text is Psalm 90 in the Masoretic version of the Psalm. Psalm 90 verse 13, return, O Lord, how long? Let it repent thee concerning thy servant. So it's like, return to me. So Psalm 90 verse 13 in the Masoretic text, return, O Lord, how long? And let it repent thee concerning thy servants. And then yet the Divine Kabbalah, or Welcome Manuscript 3203 is the actual manuscript I'm quoting. It gives a different Psalm verse. Psalm 37, which is using the Vulgate or Septuagint numbering, verse 22, do not leave me, O God, do not depart from me. It's really beautiful. So we have the Psalm verse, the divine attribute, God, the fount of wisdom, and we have this office of dealing with the element of water. So once again, all of these are like signposts that help us to establish contact with the Shem angel. It governs 20 to 25 degrees of Aquarius, which is the water bearer. And if you look at the deacons, the deacon here is Moon in Aquarius. And again, the moon is associated with water. So all of these things, again, are like signposts. They help to bring you, they're not here to be dogmatic. We're not here to be dogmatic. Well, this is what it says. These things are there it's like a personal telephone number. We contemplate the divine attribute. We reflect upon the Psalm verse. We have the name. All of these things help us to kind of plug into the angel. And once that contact is established, then you're set. And then also the Gematria. I always say to be careful with Gematria. You can manipulate letters until you can find all kinds of things, nonsense, a lot of it. But it's interesting to look at. Demab, if you take off the Yah, Demab has the Gematria value of 46. And also so does Amma, or like mother. So that's like the element of water and mother. And if you add the Yud, wait a minute. I did this next part wrong. I'm going to have to redo I wrote some notes here. Let's see. Hold on a second. So 46. So the Yah, it's not the 31 or L. So 46. So add 15. So 61. 61 is Ain, or not. So that's interesting. So the Gematria of the whole name is 61, which is Ain. Also Adon, which means Lord or Master. Aleph, Dalet, Vav, Nun is 61. Adon, Lord, Master. Ain, and again this is dealing with the waters. Ain, non-existence. And also, interesting, Baten means belly. Wealth. Hun. Here, since I didn't have this written down, I just took a quick flip through the Sefer Sephiroth for a quick reference on the Gematria. Sometimes I use modern stuff because we can't really disregard knowledge anywhere. And yet, in these videos, we try to look at each angel, and it's really hard to find all in one place all of its stuff. That's why I take a lot of painstaking efforts to look at what does Oedipus Egyptiacus say, what does Reuchlin say with the verse, what is the spelling in Agrippa. So we look at this variation over the centuries with the Shem angels. And people have been working with the Shem angels throughout the centuries. So in a nutshell, DAMABIAH governs the element of water and wisdom. Seas and oceans and springs and creeks, anything dealing with the element of water, and also wisdom. So it's very interesting. That Shem Angel 65, DAMABIAH. So the Shem angels, like this image behind my head, which actually belongs to my girl. It's not really my thing, but you see it's a circle. And a circle is a complete cycle. The Shem angels are like that. The Shem angels make a complete cycle. So the Shem angels touch upon each and every aspect of life. The last Shem angel dealt with teachers and book selling and knowledge. And here we come to like the fount of wisdom and water. I found, just through my own personal experiences, that each Shem angel is completely different from each and every other. Okay, I don't find them all very similar. I find each angel to be absolutely unique. There's a lot of difference between DAMABIAH, that governs water and wisdom, and the last one that's associated with printing and authors and orators. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So anyways, that is DAMABIAH. I'm almost done working through all 72 in these videos. And these videos will be up as a reference. I'm going to upload this to YouTube. In YouTube, I have my playlist, my Shem Angel playlist. And then on Facebook, which is where I do my lives, it's where I'm doing my live right now. People on YouTube, I encourage you to follow me on Facebook, Taliesin McKnight. And then also on Facebook, you see a pinned comment. It has my Shem Angel playlist and also my Agrippa. So these videos can be used with reference. You can always go back to a past video and learn about it. So Andrew here has left a comment and says, what about the way you said we should do the working with the 72 times thing about the angel name, attribute, and psalm verse? Can you elaborate on that? Absolutely. Actually, give me just a second and I'll show you. Hold on just a second here. All right, what you're going to do for this is the contemplative approach with the Shem angels. All right, I'm going to break this down very simply. Any kind of a thin cord, I wouldn't use yarn just because it's so thin. You need something with a little bit of substance, a thin rope, okay? What you're going to do, so there's the magic approach. That's more classical. You may have a circle on the ground. You may be peering into a scrying crystal. And then there's simple method of prayer, which is totally legitimate. You can just light a candle and pray to the Shem angels, just like you can any other spiritual being like that, right? The angels hear you. A lot of people get very powerful results, just a little incense, a little frankincense and myrrh and a candle, and just say the psalm verse and the angel name and kind of ask for what you want. The contemplative approach, I am not Jewish, by the way, but it's found in a lot of Jewish mysticism and things, in many different traditions around the world, the recitation. So what you'll do is you'll get a rope, you'll tie a single knot, boom, just a single knot, move a little bit, make another knot. All right. Make a little space, make another knot. And this creates a prayer rope. You want 72 of these. All right. So you'll need 2-3 yards of thin rope. I already have 3 knots. And what you'll do with each of these is you will recite the angel name, divine attribute, and psalm verse. So you have 71, tie the ends, and at the end you have a little contemplative prayer rope. And so what you'll do is you can do this once a day. If you really want to pick up your Shem Angel game, you can do it 3 times a day as a devotion. You can do morning, afternoon, evening. And what you'll do is you'll just recite. Where did I put my... Anyways, doesn't matter. You'll recite the Shem Angel name, attribute, psalm verse. Next knot, Shem Angel name, attribute, psalm verse. Okay, go on to the next one. Shem Angel name, attribute, psalm verse. So, DAMABIAH, God the fount of wisdom. Return, O Lord, how long? Let it repent thee for thy servant. Next knot. DAMABIAH, God the fount of wisdom. Return, O Lord, how long? So you'll just say that in the name, attribute, verse. Name, attribute, verse. Do this 72 times, and it helps you to internalize the name of the angel and the divine attribute embodied in the angel and the psalm verse. And that itself could help you. That's the contemplative way to connecting with the Shem angels, which I have talked about a contemplative recitation method like that for the last year. I've been talking about that for quite a while in these videos. So I highly recommend that people experiment with that method. Magic should be experimental and never dogmatic. And yet we don't need to just constantly reinvent the wheel. That's wasting time. A lot of this stuff, people have worked with this stuff before and they found things that work. But ultimately you have to try different things out and see what connects you with the Shem angels. Andrew says, thank you so much. And I'm assuming I do it in a prayer-like format that should include my request. And then I seal the prayer. Hold on, my connection's doing something weird. And then I seal the prayer with the word of power. You don't really have to. You could. Normally, when you ask for a request, I would just light a candle, light some incense, say the psalm verse and angel name. I mean, you could. Yeah, you absolutely could. That's legitimate. But the way that I've been teaching it is that it's just like a contemplative, deepening. Because what you're doing is you're building a deep relationship. You're not just talking at the Shem angels. You're connecting with them in a deep way. right? So how well can you hear someone when they're a mile off, if they're calling your name? You can't hear them that well. When someone's a block away, if they yell enough, you'll hear. I mean, the angels always hear us, but sometimes we don't hear them, right? The closer you get to someone, until finally you can just hear a whisper. So that's the best way I could explain it. The more plugged in we are with the Shem angels, the more we are able to receive through communication, through obtaining wisdom. It's for material things, certainly, but in the process, a lot of people find that they have like a spiritual awakenings and a spiritual elevation that comes with it. And you get more of these results the more plugged in that you are with the Shem angels. So you could absolutely, kind of like a rosary, you could include a request with that. Although I don't think it's required. I think it's overload, honestly. Just call the angel name Resomburse and just tell what you want and have an interaction, honestly. But what these things do is they help you. The angel hears your request. This is what I'm trying to say. Just my opinion, the angel hears your request. This is to help you to plug in. The angel already hears you. It's like someone throws an anchor out to land. They're trying to pull the land towards them, but really they're pulling themselves towards the land, right? So the angel hears your request, but what it's helping you to do, as you're trying to pull the angel toward, you're pulling yourself towards it. So you're helping to draw yourself closer. Each recitation is like a spiral. You're gradually getting closer and closer. You're coming into intimate contact with celestial beings. So, anyways, does that answer your question, Andrew? Of course, anything that I say is just my opinion, of course. I'm not putting myself up as some grand authority on Shem angels, but just sharing. But does that kind of answer what you were asking? I hope it does. But yeah, the contemplative